Hey wrestling fans, this is Rick Blade telling you to tune in for BJ and DG, best wrestling talk on YouTube.
Thank you, Rick. Welcome back, everybody. BJ here, DG over there.
What's going on, everybody? I hope everybody's had a good week, and I'm excited to talk some wrestling today.
As usual, Chef the Ref.
Sometimes, always, let's fire it up.
And we have a special person on the panel today from the crossover crew, somebody
So
I
you have
know
a
as
special
well.
guest, not a special person.
Oh, whatever. We have Wyatt Wrestling joining us.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Wyatt?
How you doing? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Well, before we get to talking Night of Champions, BJ went to an indie show for Super Crazy this week, which you would have heard about the show from our interview with Primal Fear. So go ahead and take the floor. Tell us about that show and how everything went.
So I got to say, amazing show. All the performers, they range in ability level from students to somewhat experienced wrestlers, but you wouldn't know it by the action. Everybody put on an amazing performance. First match, my man Homeless Vaughn won the United States title against Tim Dynamite. And
anybody that has watched any of our SPO shows knows we all love Homeless Vaughn.
Would you say we're marks for him?
I am, because as he won the title and ran out of the ring, I just happened to be standing there, and he gave me a high five. And sadly, he did not hang out after the show, so I didn't get to talk to him after that. But always great seeing him.
We'll find him on the street somewhere eventually.
There were a lot of people running up and handing him money. It was weird.
Yeah, you just have to.
Weird.
You're looking for this yellow. Look for the yellow card.
Tim Dynamite cut a promo beforehand, and he's like, "I've seen your records. I see how I've seen how much money you make from these shows, and you make enough money to get by. So where does it all go?"
Training,
yeah,
obviously.
Obviously, man.
Probably sleep in the gym.
But anyway, so that was a great match. There was the audio isn't great in that place, so I can't always hear the names of the performers when they're said on the microphone. But there was, let me see if I got this right. Jordan Oliver had a match. I cannot remember the dude he was fighting. Big dude. I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, Jordan Oliver won that one. Cool. Jordan Oliver, amazing as always, and it was great to see him fighting someone that wasn't his size. Nice. You know.
So is he also going with the face personality or like a tweener personality in this promotion, or
the whole tweener thing going on?
Whole tweener thing. All right, cool.
Yeah, he was like, you got to earn it, kind of.
Yeah. All right. Yep. Much like with Ryan O'Neal when we saw him.
That was just an example of the vibe he had going.
All right, cool.
But he was also the underdog. I'm not used to seeing him less than confident.
Yeah, sure.
But that
was not for him to come from behind and take it, though.
Well, you didn't see much of that, though. He was slightly less than confident, but that didn't last long.
No, of course.
Great match. There was a triple threat. I know Junie Underwood was involved. I don't remember the name of the other two guys. So Primal Fear not only defeated the Revelation, but the Revelation disbanded after the match. They all turned on each other. The manager, can't remember his name for the life of me, ended up leaving with one of the guys. And in the main event, Samuel Falsey defeated Devious Cass for the title, for the big. And that was just an amazing match. Great show all around. I got to hang out with Primal Fear for a couple minutes after the show.
Cool.
I got to actually meet Adrian in person, which was great. Never actually met him, and he's looking forward to you guys. Amazing show, and it was one of 3 bookings for Primal Fear in the last 3 days, and I mean, just the indie scene in South Jersey is just going strong.
Whoop whoop. What's up,
Whoop.
El Juggalo?
Whoop whoop El Juggalo.
It's so great that any given weekend, if I have enough cash, I can be like, I'm going to go to this show. I'm going to go to that show. You know?
Sure.
So,
If I have cash and time off, that equals going to a show.
yeah, well, working 9 to 5 doesn't help either. You know?
That's true. Or 99 or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like it was a fun show.
Amazing.
And then also, since talking about Primal Fear and all that stuff as well, they just won the Dog Tag Team Championships. They talked about that match they had coming up in our interview as well.
One of those
So
3
congrats
matches in
to
3
those
days.
guys.
They're having a match early right now in Paulsboro also.
Nice.
At the Monster Factory.
Nice. UWN Championship Wrestling. All right. Look into that a little bit now that I currently have some slots in my programming that are not being taken up by a certain other large promotion.
So let's start talking this week in wrestling and start with Monday night. And
Sure.
as we were talking about the King of the Ring semifinals match, we had all talked about, regardless of who came out, Jey Uso or Cody Rhodes, you know, that we would probably be happy with any of the 3 guys winning. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, Cody Rhodes versus Jey Uso, I wanted at WrestleMania. So I already had it in my head that this match on Monday night was going to be a match of the week candidate for me. And it was exactly what I expected. And even more so, those fans were heavily into the match. You didn't really hear many boos. It was just more cheers, 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 cheers.
Yeah, and well, 2 baby faces going at each other, that's what you'd expect.
I mean, probably the 2 most over people in the company right now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Say so. 2 of the consistently highest merch sellers. So, yeah, sure. That is a measure of over right there. Pretty easy one.
Yeah. So, White, what did you think of the main event for Monday night?
It was a great match, but I was happy. Like you guys are saying, I could have been happy with either guy winning, Jey Uso, Cody Rhodes, but we had Cody win, go versus Randy Orton. Then, yeah. But it was a great match.
Cody versus Randy in the King of the Ring finals. There's nothing to be said about there. So, yeah. Not a bad call by WWE to have that going to be their final.
Yeah, I definitely prefer seeing that to the possible Jay versus Randy match.
Jay versus Sammy would have been interesting, but Sammy was already eliminated by that point. So
I want to see that sometime in the future.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was kind of like, as I said, you know, I was really hoping it would be like a Raw versus SmackDown thing, so we didn't have the guarantee, because with that match, Randy and Cody, guaranteed winner goes on to face the WWE champion. And I mean, oh no, I guess the women's Queen of the Ring final was Raw versus SmackDown, right? Because Asuka's on Raw still.
Asuka versus Jade, yep.
Okay. You know, I think both tournament matches were actually really good. Like Jade and Roxanne from Monday night was really good too.
Yeah, that was a good match.
Speaking of Monday night, we had angle set up for Chad Gable, because now Chad Gable being injured puts not just 1 but 2 storylines in jeopardy at the moment that would have became one.
What do you mean?
We all know that he's El Grande Americano.
I mean, that's just a coincidence of timing with their injuries. You know? I mean, that happens.
Yeah, not just
Sucks,
that they have the same tattoo in the exact same spot.
I mean, you know, Grande
identical,
Americano.
not one looking newer or older. No, exactly identical.
Good friends. They went out and got them.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, apparently the plans were for it to end up El Grande Americano versus Penta and Mask versus Mask match at SummerSlam.
Okay, so we'd finally get to see Penta's face then, right?
Yeah, no, that's not happening. You really want to get rid of a merchandise seller, huh?
Yeah, I mean, Grande's mask is selling pretty well.
Do they have the masks for sale?
Oh yeah, they are for sale.
Huh?
Of course, they might be a little mislabeled because I think they might say Chad Gable on it, on like the little tag with them. But that's a misprint. What are you going to do? Just because it's across the whole line of product, it proves nothing.
El Juggalo, unfortunately, at the moment, I've been so busy. It's been hard to stay kept up on JCW. I know what's been happening, but I haven't watched it to really be able to talk about it. But I will make a point for us to start talking more JCW because there's a lot of stuff leading up to the gathering.
Oh yeah, we DG and I got some catching up on JCW to do because we're going to be there live at the gathering to see it in person.
The crossover with GCW and JCW, their whole promotion versus promotion thing. I'm really looking forward to that. That's what I'm looking forward to at the gathering. It's not even the music.
Oh, the music though, the acts they're announcing lately, oh god, I can't wait for this show. This whole weekend, it's going to be just fantastic.
So also throughout the week, David, with the Liv Morgan injury happening, they've been showing that they're trying to decide what to do with the tag team championships.
Okay.
For the women. Rumor has it that they're probably going to have Roxanne step in Liv's place and just take up being the other half of the tag team champions without vacating them. Okay. And then they're supposed to get like a triple threat championship defense at Evolution 2.
Okay.
That's the ongoing theory at the moment.
All right. That works.
Yeah, there's no need to vacate him. You got a partner right there,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it makes sense for right now. Because then you can just pull the titles off of them anyway. Because I have a feeling that's where they're going to go. Because after the Rhea and Raquel match yesterday, and that was a really good street fight. Like, they went out there and did their thing.
Yeah.
I could see Raquel being put back into singles and not necessarily being stuck as a tag team wrestler now.
So that would be an interesting storyline if, once Liv comes back and Raquel is now established herself again as a singles competitor pretty solidly. Will she want to go back to being a tag partner with Liv?
Maybe even at that point have Raquel holding the Women's Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah, that'd be a nice little twist. And, it would go along with Roxanne stealing Dominic away from Liv, too.
Yeah. How does he get all the good angles?
Luck of the draw. Just be in the right place at the right time and Rey Mysterio's kid.
Who? You mean Eddie Guerrero's kid?
Why not both?
Well, speaking of Guerrero's real quick, I came across this tidbit that Vicky Guerrero could be returning to WWE very soon.
I could be into this. They put her in the right storyline, hook her up with the right person as a manager or something. Could work, you have her interact with Dom a little bit. That could be fun. You have her mess with Ray some, like back in the day. That'd be cool.
Well, yeah, Dom's just son, so I would love to see her, like, bossing him around.
I don't like his mom.
I'm your stepmom. You'll do as I say.
Excuse me.
Yeah, I could be here for this. Depending on what of course, it could obviously go off the rails and just be total crap, but hey, risk you got to take, but the payoff could be really good.
Either that, I'm just saying that. Well, nope, I'm not even going to say it. I don't even.
No, say it. You gotta say it now.
No. I'll tell you after the show.
Fair.
Yeah, another match of stuff that progressed throughout the week. Karrion Kross and Sami Zayn. Karrion Kross, we had a nice little backstage segment with them on Monday night, with Sami Zayn decking Kross after he tells him he'll never be world champion. And I just love that backstage segment. You just have Scarlett lean up to him. Hey, what are you doing? Stop playing around. And you see his hand lower, and he's just smiling and laughing.
Nice.
Which their match is at Night of Champions is a sleeper pick for match of the week for me.
Nice. Yeah, I'm sad that I'm missing out on this Karrion Kross actually getting a storyline moment because of the Oldberg boycott I'm currently on. But hey, it's a price I have to pay.
Yeah, I mean, you're choosing to pay it.
I am, and it's a price I'm willing to pay, just to not have to accidentally see Oldberg on my screen.
That's fair. Monday night as well, this whole situation with the Women's Intercontinental Championship at the moment. You know, we had a little backstage segment before their match with Bayley and Lyra, who eventually comes out and inadvertently cost Bayley the match for letting her feelings get in the way and jumping in the match after Becky.
Okay.
I think I can see this maybe going as a triple threat at Women's Evolution.
Absolutely. It's 100% where this is going.
Oh, yeah.
Telegraphing this one like, a bad clothesline.
Or like a Randy Orton power slam.
Sure, that too. Or a Claymore.
Well, that's a countdown. That's telegraphed.
Pretty bad telegraphed count a move down.
Yeah, I mean, The Rock, Corey, just gave away the people's elbow. You see it. Whoop.
Yeah, you can make that same argument.
That's the thing.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, SmackDown was pretty good. Was pretty solid this week too, outside of the whole thing with production.
Oh yeah, the half hour that went to join AEW Collision apparently.
Why, man? Why?
Okay, we haven't gotten there quite yet.
No. All right, yes, SmackDown. They had the whole production issue, and online everybody was blaming Netflix for
AEW?
it. No, this was actually WWE this time. Where is?
I know, but they could be blaming AEW. It's
nah,
30-minute.
That's a different. Yeah, no, they just copied AEW. That's all. AEW
okay.
did
Now
it. We can do it better because we're the WWE.
That makes total sense. Yes.
I thought they did a camel munch the cable.
Jesus speaking.
But when you watch it, you can see it's like weird camera angles and everything. Like even the sound was off.
On the Netflix, they said we're having technical difficulties. A camel munched the cable or something like that.
I mean, well, I don't see the international feed. So all I know is that it went out for 30 minutes, and from the stuff I read, Orton and Cody had to go back out, entertain the crowd a little bit. But when you see when everything kind of goes off, and then the footage changes, and it's just like, well, okay.
The image
but
in my
like
head
the lights
Cody
were still
and Randy
on.
going out and entertaining the crowd is just them going to the middle of the ring and doing the kid and play dance.
Apparently, from what the report said, Randy Orton was doing Jey Uso's yeet with the crowd and everything.
I could see that, yeah. Just constantly turning around like Joe Hendry.
But yeah, this wasn't for international audiences a Netflix issue. Okay. Far from it. This was just a camel being hungry and chewing cords, I guess.
Okay. Well, luckily, none of my animals at my house do that, so I'm good.
But we did something I did want to talk about. We did have a big moment from SmackDown this week. And that was Giulia defeating Selena Vega for the Women's United States Championship.
Good for you, Giulia. Nice ascension that she's had, since she came over from Japan and yeah, once she hit NXT, she took the women's title. Of course, got injured, and then Stephanie Vaquer got the title, and pretty much had a grip on that until she got drafted up to the next level. Giulia, though, she just kind of seamlessly made her way onto the SmackDown roster, and to hear that she now has the U.S. title, I am not surprised, and this is probably right along where I figured her trajectory would be right about now.
Yeah, not one short title reign to end this weekend neither. But as we'll talk about soon. But it seemed like, I guess this was just a consolation prize for Zelina for her hard work and how long she's been there. Like when Natty became women's champion, I think on SmackDown.
Okay.
Like, hey, you've been here for a while. You've done everything we've asked. We're going to give you the title. But, I'm not going to say she had a great run because it never really had a chance to get real TV time.
Uh-huh.
And it was also the transition from Chelsea, who's extremely over.
Yeah.
To Zelina Vega. It's definitely a change in the presentation, and Giulia will bring back a huge presentation to that championship.
Yeah.
And I don't expect her to have a short run with it. What do you guys think?
I think she's going to bring some beautiful madness to that title. Should be a nice reign that she has, I think.
She'll hold her for a while.
Anybody you guys would like to see her go up against in this title picture at the moment?
Who's over there right now? Zelina and Chelsea.
I would like to see her go against, send her up against the entire Secret Service. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, and, let's see. It's hard to think of who is on the SmackDown roster versus the Raw roster at this moment.
You know what? It's one I wouldn't mind if they would move her maybe over to SmackDown. Asuka and Giulia.
Sure. Yeah, that would be a great match. That was one
Giulia,
I knew Asuka
at some point. We know
we're not going to see Jade because Jade is already in the women's title picture. So until Giulia hits that next level, when we will see that match, which that's got to come at some point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Which, speaking of Jade, our Queen of the Ring, which from the get-go, as soon as they announced all this,
the tournament this year was made for Jade.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have a feeling we see her defeat Tiffy at SummerSlam and then Naomi cash in.
Yeah, sounds about right in my math. Or maybe they have her win the belt from Tiffany beforehand, and then Naomi cashes in and calls her shot for SummerSlam, something like that. I don't think this is going to be a shot caller Money in the Bank. Do you think this is going to be? No.
This is going to be this is going to be the traditional heel cash in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I just love how the past couple weeks there's been somebody there to stop her, like Nia or something, every time. Like, no, stay out of my business.
That's been hilarious. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Tiffany's got a lot of business with a lot of people right now, so yeah.
I mean, and even with cash-ins, Poor little Nate, man. Poor little Nate.
Yeah, he
was just trying to come out and do his job.
If he got busted open, that would have been as good as any Ric Flair sell ever.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of busted open, congratulations to Dave LaGreca and the entire team over at Series working with Busted Open for finally getting to go 24/7. Pro Wrestling Nation will be the channel. But
they're going to need a lot of content,
The coach and I think Sam Roberts are going to have a show together.
Okay.
They have about 4 shows planned at the moment, which will replay throughout later in the day and stuff like that. Because
there's other content out there that they could find for their channel, even be a later night content that they could air,
Dave LaGreca, we're talking to you.
Yeah, couldn't hurt to put it out there in the ether.
Let's see what else from. Oh, we had the Wyatt Six and Street Profits Tag Team Championship match this week on SmackDown.
Yeah, that baloney.
Baloney. Okay, it was a bad match then.
It wasn't that it was a bad match. It wasn't a bad match. It was just the DIY ends up interfering, just jumping into the match when the Wyatts had it won.
So the whole thing just gets thrown out and is a big old nothing burger match, which leads us to the ladder match or however they're going to.
Yeah. I say do a tag team elimination chamber.
I'm fine with that, or some sort of a tag team battle royal.
All right, look. The biggest Hell in a Cell match ever. We take 6 tag teams, 12 men, put them in the Hell in a Cell, and whatever happens, happens.
So
that
wait,
tight in that cell.
Pretty Deadly, the one guy's hurt. So DIY, the Machine Guns, Street Profits, Wyatts, Garza,
who are current AAA tag team champions.
And are the Creeds over on SmackDown? Or are they on Raw? The Creed American Made, they're Raw.
They're Raw.
I mean, you could substitute. I mean, put 5. I mean, you could put 5 teams in there. I was just thinking about doing a tag team version of the 6-man Hell in a Cell.
5 teams, have the first team just stand in the ring for 5 minutes and just look around and pose.
I mean, there's a lot. I mean, you could have like some negotiation, like, hey, we needed to fill the spot. We've had Carmelo going around looking. Yeah, Fraxium. There's your 16. There we go.
Yep, there we go. Yeah, how did we forget Fraxium?
But yeah, pretty much that match ends with all the tag teams just brawling with each other. We get a nice little Sister Abigail from
Bo Dallas.
Uncle Hal, yeah. But a lot of stuff from that's going to continue on. I think we see a really big match at SummerSlam. I doubt it's Hell in a Cell, to be honest, but you know, we're going to see something that's going to be worthy of a multi-man team. I just kind of don't want to see another multi-team ladder match.
Yeah, I'd prefer to see a battle royal.
Yeah, or some kind of elimination base.
Yeah, like where every pin eliminates a tag team member and last.
Oh, so you guys remember the scramble matches?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. What if you did a tag team scramble match?
Sure, that'd work.
Just don't do a tag team 4 corners match where you can tag anyone.
No. I mean, even with the outlaw rule in place.
Dude, do you really want to get me on that rant?
I hate those matches.
Did you say rant?
Like, that's a rant I can take up the rest of the time on this show with, as to why tag teams shouldn't be tagging in somebody from another team, and also why is it in multi-team matches where the teams have to tag in and out like a triple threat or a fatal 4-way? There's only one member of each team in there. It makes no sense,
or something like that.
No, because that takes away from it being a fatal 4-way.
It should be one member of each team. Yes.
And then you can also adjust the rules to say if a team member jumps in to break up the pin, it's a disqualification. Ooh. Because there's 4 people in the ring. There should be no reason for a team member to have to get in there, or you only allow it once.
I'd like to see no rules, falls count anywhere, elimination.
Tornado, just make it tornado tag. At that point, you have a couple wraps around the ring.
Yeah.
Wyatt, feel free to chime in at any time.
Yeah, man. We just kind of talk over each other, so it's cool.
I don't know. Yeah. They need a tag team eliminator. We need that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe do something different. Do a gauntlet match.
Yeah, I don't like that though. Like, unless it's one where like,
if the champions start the gauntlet and they have to run it to hold their belts, that could work.
Well, but what you do is in that situation, you make the team, like you take one member from each team, put them in an over the top rope battle royal, just starting in the ring, and the winning team
Gets to
and
come
the
out
and
last.
the yeah, like you could do it to where like the winners get a certain spot, and the last people eliminated though get the other spot. So
Yeah.
you do it kind of Royal Rumble base where it becomes a draw just with maybe one or two guaranteed spots,
That'd
or
be
winner
cool.
gets to call their spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make every other team fight through before the champions come out. But I do prefer the idea of the champion starting the match in a gauntlet
Mhm.
where the title's defended.
Right. Yeah, that
Because you're
makes
the
more sense.
champion. You should have to run the gauntlet at that point.
Yes, prove yourself. And you look that much stronger as a champion if you run that gauntlet.
The reason I don't like a gauntlet is because we're just getting a tag match and then a tag match and then a tag match. I'd rather see just everybody on everybody.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I was just looking at other avenues.
Yeah, throwing out all the ifs.
I do like the tag team elimination chamber style match.
That'd be
I
cool.
forget what year it was, but when they did it with the women, it was like around the time they had just created the women's tag team championships. Because I think
Nope.
Sasha and Bailey defended them in the chamber. I think they were the champions
Okay.
at the time.
Interesting.
Well, Mercedes Monet. But yeah, the two other
female
things,
butt collector.
big things coming out of
Oh, Snoop's. Okay.
Friday night was the last woman standing match, which Tiffy and Nia went out there and did their thing.
I'm assuming with the way we've been talking that Tiffany won that one.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense at the moment because
Yeah.
if you're going to do two hot swaps like I think they're going to do at SummerSlam, with Jade beating Tiffy and then Jade getting cashed in on. Which, you know what would be really great? Jade wins the title in a hard-fought match and then also defeats Naomi after all the crap she's been talking.
Yeah.
Because the women have yet to fail cashing in Money in the Bank. They are perfect across the board with it.
Mm-hmm. And then the men's side, you have RVD's a sad one, and then Austin Theory's comedic one.
Oh man!
Didn't Baron Corbin have a really awful one too?
He was just King of the Ring. I thought. I don't think he won.
No,
Money in the Bank.
No, he won.
Did?
I think he won
God.
Money in the Bank and failed.
Oh boy.
Damian Sandow had it and failed.
Yeah. Corbin had it and failed because I think Seth Rollins knocked him out as soon as he cashed in.
Yeah.
But he was involved in the match. I might be remembering that wrong.
You mean
Or
kind
you
of like
could be
what
going
Seth did
completely
yesterday?
right. That sounds like a Baron Corbin storyline.
I think that might have been what started Seth Corbin.
Interesting enough that we speak of Baron Corbin. Him and Dijak just won the tag team titles this late last week in MLW.
Nice.
Where also MJF appeared and attacked Mystico.
Yes. Yeah.
MJF, who
he
used
had
to
this
be,
match.
MJF before AEW was on the MLW indie roster.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I missed the MLW show that they had on briefly. That was actually entertaining.
Was on,
it's where I was
on
first
YouTube.
introduced to Jacob Fatu. So.
Other SmackDown news. SmackDown starting next week, going back to 2 hours.
Thank you.
It just SmackDown felt too long at 3 hours, and Raw feels too short even at 2.5 though.
Or 2:20, but at least that fluctuates. 1 week could be 2 hours 15 minutes. The other one could get up to 2.5.
See, man, they're not paying. They're not looking out for those of us out there who work 9 to 5 Monday through Friday.
But know what the problem is?
I'm going until 11.
Here's the problem. The marks will watch it.
That's a fact. We have DVRs. We know how to record it.
5 hours long.
Yeah. So maybe with SmackDown going back down to 2, maybe Raw will actually bump up to 3 hours again. from this 2:30 that they've been doing.
Well, I will say this: for the last couple of weeks of SmackDown, maybe the last 3 weeks, maybe even the last month, it hasn't felt as much of a drag to me as it did previously. The shows felt like they flowed together really well. As we know, I have my arguments about how the shows I feel like should be mixed up every once in a while because I feel like it's too cookie cutter as show opens, promo. Like once every couple weeks on Monday or Friday night. Can we just
Have a
start off
match.
with a match, a parking lot brawl, just something different?
Like NXT will do every so often.
Yeah, or God forbid I say that this AEW.
Yeah.
AEW
TNA starts with the first match all the time. Yeah. AEW starts with first match all the time.
Not all the time. Sometimes it's
Almost all the time. Yeah, they do have
see.
the occasional promo to start though, but yeah, mostly it's matches for
This-
AEW.
This week's kicked off with Toni Storm being attacked by Mercedes Moné when she was arriving to the arena on Dynamite.
Yeah,
And then to the Young Bucks appearing on the Tron and telling Swerve and Ospreay their match that was supposed to be later in the show is the opening match. And you have like Will Ospreay, boots untied, he's running out, taping his wrists and everything.
Yep.
But then we'll have weeks as well where it's just a full in-ring promo. They just mix it up.
Yeah.
Like mixing up that opening kind of helps because I'm kind of like, all right, I feel like I have to be sitting here
Right.
as when the show starts. I already have to have Netflix on because I know the time. The show will kick off at 8 by 8:03, 8:04. We have whoever's coming out for that opening promo to come out. But I will give them credit to where they had, if you've noticed over the last couple of weeks across the board, the opening promos have gone from like 20 to 30 minutes down to about 15 to 20.
Yeah, I think they heard the feedback from that and people being like, "Come on, let's get to an actual match, please. Thank you."
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it that way, like a 2-hour show,
like,
that's quarter of your show, just starting off just all promo.
Yeah, just burned.
Yeah. Just to sell me on something that I'm probably either already sold on or that I'm just going to watch no matter what because it's pro wrestling.
I have no problem with them opening every show with the promo as much as, like, a lot of them just seem very unnecessary and they don't further anything. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're just talking to toot their own horn. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a lot of circular talk content.
Looking at you, Seth.
But yeah, it just, like I said, that's why I just keep bringing up, like, mixing it up every once in a while. You know? Like, or you kick off with the guy coming out for the promo and then, like, say, like, Seth Rollins at the moment. He comes out tomorrow night, which Monday Night Raw starts at 6 o'clock because they're doing a SmackDown taping right afterwards. I finally found out why Monday Night Raw's at 6.
Interesting.
Oh no, what am I going to do tomorrow night?
Watch it late.
Yeah, I'm about to say I'm probably going to be watching it late because I'm going to have things to do. Either that or I'm just going to have it on my phone.
Right.
Either way, I'll be watching it still. But yeah, like, just with the time stuff, you know, like, it would be nice. Like, you know, like, say Seth Rollins comes out and before he gets to the ring, Penta comes out and hits him, or CM Punk comes out after what happened this past week and attacks him. Like, hey, you know what? We don't ever get to the promo. Instead, we get like a 5-7 minute brawl with these guys. Just beating up security and everybody else around him. And then Bronson Reed can kill CM Punk with like 30 tsunamis because that's exactly what would happen.
Yeah, sounds about right.
But yeah, back to our SmackDown conversation. Another thing which I really enjoyed was CM Punk coming out to Thugonomics. Like,
Yes.
that was so well done.
I wish I would have caught that. I got to look for that.
You know who produced that whole segment, right?
Bobby Roode.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Why? What did you think of the Thugonomics?
Oh, I loved it. We were on stream. One of my other guys who were on there, we were laughing when it came out. We were just laughing, and we're like, "Punk life." That's our new saying. We're gonna say "Punk life."
And I
Nice.
just love that it happened on the 14th anniversary of the actual pipe bomb.
Yeah, timing.
And also, I never knew that that CM Punk would be able to drop a diss track, but it happened live right in front of my eyes. Oh man, absolutely great. But I guess we'll shift over to some full Night of Champions stuff here. We've talked
Sure.
about some of it.
Of course.
The men's United States Championship match with Solo defeating Jacob Fatu for the championship with an assist from
That's a
JC
shocker.
Mateo, the return of Tonga Loa, and the debut of Hikuleo, who will now be Tonga.
Taller Tonga.
Tell
He is a taller Tonga than the other guys. That's not wrong. Boy, oh boy. Seeing the Bloodline 3.0 now?
Pretty much.
Mhm.
It seems to be.
Wait till they get Zilla.
Yeah.
Nah, news would break if Zilla signed. Just because of how everywhere he is on the indie.
Mm.
Like he's a part of Booker T's promotion now too.
Yeah, if he suddenly stops doing indie appearances, we know what happened.
Yeah. It was a good match. I was just surprised we didn't see any run-ins for anybody to help Jacob, like Jimmy, because it seemed like I guess they're just going to build up the odds against Jacob, where he has no choice. Solo during the presser at the end, they did an interview. He kind of makes a reference to Jey Uso.
Okay.
We're still missing one, Tama Tonga.
Yep.
Which I don't know where he was. Did he get injured too, or has he just?
Yes.
I think he's healthy now, or he's like almost healthy at this point. He's been out for a while. I think he was the one with the tricep injury.
Okay.
Yeah,
Basically
because
just
the way
waiting for clearance.
Right.
this is looking now, that's going to be a 5-man stable.
Mhm.
Solo, JC Mateo,
Mm-hmm.
Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Talatonga. And
Pretty
Solo.
powerful.
Yeah.
Pretty powerful.
And then if we look at the other side, just looking at it, we have Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso at the moment. I assume at some point Jay somehow gets in the mix of everything, especially with SummerSlam coming. You have an
Most
excuse
likely.
for shows. You have an excuse for things to cross over for whatever reason.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
think
It's 2-night
Rowan
event. So.
would,
What was that?
you think Rowan would get involved with that?
Who?
Possible. Roman.
Roman.
I was just getting to that. I just saw a question here. Do you guys foresee Jay and Honorary Uce Sammy eventually helping Jimmy and Jacob?
Yeah, I can see that.
I can see it.
I mean,
but I don't think. I think we're looking at a Sammy heel turn coming.
Yeah, that's what I want to see.
I kind of want to see him and Karrion like actually paired together. Wow.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Like kind of like that Karrion actually finally turns somebody and that person actually joins him instead of just being a heel off somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, AJ hasn't turned yet, has he?
It's not that everyone actually turns. It's just kind of that Carrion messes with something in their life. Some of them have turned, but like Rey Mysterio, he didn't turn. But Carrion completely just separated him from Dominic. That was kind of the catalyst that drove everything further away.
I mean, Dominic, I give more credit to Rhea and
Well,
Damian
yeah,
Priest.
But I mean, Carrion definitely drove that wedge further.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He helped with it, but that was this more of that's just another somebody in the other ear now, as compared to wait, like two people there, one here, and Rey Mysterio just got pushed out.
Yeah. Well, Dom was obviously seduced by Rhea, but you had Carrion and Razier pushing him the same direction from the other side.
So, do we see the Bloodline reunite again in this battle?
OG Bloodline back together.
Because my problem is I don't see why Roman goes backwards. Solo's in his rear view. Solo's a mid-card champion.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't see getting involved with this whole thing anymore.
Everybody else but Roman, I'm okay with. Because I feel like Roman at the moment should be going after Seth.
Yeah, that feels right. He'd have to he does have his deal where he can go anywhere he wants. That was, the Paul Heyman deal that got struck. So yeah, if he wants to go after Seth, that makes total sense.
I mean, because that whole thing's still lingering.
Oh yeah, as it always will.
But we still have plenty of time before SummerSlam to see where that fully goes. And I mean, maybe we see another family civil war in the War Games somehow. Because now we're at that time where, hey, a couple factions might start popping up here and there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Things start forming, start happening.
Thank you, House of Cluck. Yeah. I mean, it was just a really good match with a lot. It took a lot for them to put down Jacob Fatu. And he did not look happy at the end of that match.
I wouldn't think he would.
I was kind of surprised that Tonga Loa sided with Solo.
Well, he still sees Solo as the dominant guy from the faction. He's not really seeing Jacob as that because he came in even later than they did. So, Solo was there first. He was the one that brought everyone in. That's why he's loyal there. Makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it makes sense now. But at the same time, it's kind of like I said, we're looking at a numbers game to where even if we just look at the roster as it is now, the Usos and Jacob are still outnumbered by two people.
Oh, yeah.
Which was the last time we saw a 5-man faction in the WWE. That wasn't the Bloodline with Sammy included.
Do we have to go almost back to the Attitude Era?
No, there's going to be Retribution.
Oh, yeah. Retribution, sure.
Oh, no, that was 4 and 1.
Yeah, that was a choice. I was really happy with the Queen of the as well. As I said earlier, Jade. Yeah. Like I said, the second we started talking about Queen of the Ring, Jade, I really wish it had been Jade and Rhea in the finals, though.
Uh-huh.
So I think that would have been an amazing match. Yeah, that would have been an amazing match. But also at the same time, Jade might not be ready for that.
Yeah. Well, we'll get the Jade Rhea match at some point.
Yeah, and then we had the WWE Championship match. John Cena and CM Punk. And this match had a lot of moving pieces. A couple of the matches had a lot of moving pieces. Especially like the US title and the WWE title. There was a lot of outside interference in these matches.
Okay.
Like the John Cena Punk match is going good. We're looking good. CM Punk's looking like he's setting up to end the match. You get Seth Rollins coming out.
Okay.
And he's dressed in normal clothes. Like he wasn't originally planning on clocking in. Or yeah, clocking in.
We're not
Cashing
at work
in.
today, man.
Every day's work, man.
Fair.
It's just at the job I actually get to clock in and get paid for it. Yeah, Breaker and Reed hit the ring, just destroying Punk. Cena's just there like, why are you getting involved? I thought we had a deal. You stay out of my way, I stay out of your way. Turns into a whole thing. I think at one point, Cena just like smacks the briefcase away from him. Like, oh, I guess you're not. Hits him with an AA, and then Rollins is out for a while. Everybody. It was just at one point during all that, we get Cena and Punk kind of teaming up with each other.
Interesting.
Which led
Fight
to
off
like
the Rollins faction threat.
they have that hugging moment like he did Cody. And then John looks down at Rollins, and Rollins comes in and just hits him.
Okay.
And essentially, CM Punk loses because Rollins gives him a curb stomp, and then Cena just throws him out the ring so he can't cash in.
Sure, that works.
But it was a fun match, but, it's one of those things to where just how were they going to make sure Cena retained the title?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There was a chance of a cash-in, but it's just like, are they really going to do it? Or
And everybody knew the title wasn't changing hands.
Right. Yeah, I didn't feel as I've been saying, I think Seth didn't really want that title. He just feels like he's messing with everybody in that match a little bit. He wants that title that currently is in Gunther's possession.
It was one of those things to where it's like he only went out there because it was CM Punk in that match. So think about it. With him holding that, what's the best way to stop Punk from winning the title? By him cashing in and taking that opportunity from him.
Turns out he didn't even need to cash in to do that. So there you go. The visionary strikes again.
Yeah, and now Cena moves on to SummerSlam, as does Cody, and we now know the most likely main event for SummerSlam Night 2 this year. For the first two-night SummerSlam will be Cody Rhodes versus John Cena in a rematch from the main event of WrestleMania.
Now, what stip are we putting on that?
As far as stipulations to put on that?
Interesting. Oh, whoops, wrong one. Since it was brought up in the chat, I just love this picture. Just as much as I love this one.
Yeah, both good ones.
Oh, whoops. There we go.
All right, so what were we in the middle of talking about right before that?
Stipulation.
Stipulation on the Cena Cody match.
Cody Rhodes cannot get another opportunity at the WWE Championship as long as Cena is still champion.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
I would put that so that we can't circle back around to it again.
Yeah.
Cody earned his shot. He lost. He didn't get the job done. And now we can start working toward the heel turn.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
I mean, I think the seeds were already planted for that a little bit.
So do I, but I feel like the Randy Orton heel turn is coming first, and that we're going to get the a Cody Orton feud. Because I feel like you're going to have to remove him from that title picture somehow. And there's no better way than having him and Randy work a little bit together.
Yeah, you could even have Randy put him out for a little bit. Just to give him a reason to not be in the picture physically.
I mean, we have another little thread we could do. Let's just say that Rollins has decided to cash in for the WWE Championship. What if Cody wins the title? Orton comes out, hits an RKO on him, attacking him after the match, leaving Seth Rollins to come in and cash on. Seth Rollins was once Cody's shield. Now he no longer is. And now he's the one that now took away what he worked so hard to get back.
That's payment for his services rendered.
which now takes the title off Cena completely. Maybe we can go visit that match, Cena Rollins match, and we can get, maybe people have been speculating about a Cena possible face turn to end the run. We can work our way back to that now because we're halfway through this now.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
we are halfway
we're
through
at
this
July.
year already. Yeah.
Yep, July is Tuesday.
So where does CM Punk go from here? Is it because I was thinking a match with LA Knight and Rollins, but now Rollins also inserting himself into this match. I'm not also chalking up to him just being Mr. Money in the Bank. It's to keep CM Punk away from a championship.
Yeah. So, hey, they could build towards something with Punk versus Rollins at SummerSlam.
What about CM Punk versus Braun Breaker?
That would be a way to put over Braun Breaker.
Yeah. Yeah, even since he's a heel, doesn't have to be a clean finish.
Nope.
And Braun Breaker gets a win over a multi-time world champion.
Yeah.
And multi-time WWE champion.
I don't mind it. Don't mind it at all.
There's better. It's not coming.
No, yeah, but I'm saying, like, if Seth Rollins has to deal with LA Knight, or we do LA Knight versus Braun Breaker and Rollins and Punk.
I would prefer that. I would prefer to see LA Knight just get completely destroyed, and then have that epic Punk and Rollins match.
I just feel like at the moment there might be, with what they've worked up with everything, a little bit more to do Rollins and Knight first.
Well, hold on. So, what do you think about maybe Braun and Braun going after the tag team gold?
I mean, I would be okay with it.
It's what, New Day now?
Yeah, the New Day still have the titles, but at the moment, I feel like with what's going on just with that faction,
they can totally go after New Day. Yeah.
Yeah. I would if I was going to do that, I'd start it after SummerSlam. Let them because then you let Seth, for example, you let Seth deal with the LA Knight situation and kick him back to SmackDown where he belongs for now. Right? Braun Breaker picks up the win over CM Punk. And now CM Punk, who's still going to be a pain to Seth, we can now move on to another Seth Punk feud for the next couple months, with Punk trying to get revenge for costing him the WWE Championship. Or we just move on to something entirely different. Who knows?
The whole Punk thing is getting super stale to me. I mean, I know there's always going to be that, like, when I have an opportunity, I'm going to lay this guy out. But, like...
Well, it feels like I feel like we're just going to lead towards their match at WrestleMania one-on-one. Even though I still say we need Rollins and Reigns one-on-one before Reigns retires, but we also could say the same thing about CM Punk at this point, given their age.
Yeah.
So, but I think at the moment it is a good time for us to take our break.
All right.
Alrighty.
I will be showing the highlight package, which is a new one. Rick effing Blade versus the Feral Face from the SPO Backseat Silver Anniversary.
Again, Rick Blade, I'm sorry for our call on this match. I can't apologize enough to you.
I'm not apologizing. I knew what I was doing. I knew that we had to light a fire under his ass to be able to beat Face.
I'd rather it be wrong and him be champion than be right.
You're right, because you know what? He could be angry, but guess what? Look what that anger for him being upset with us got him. It got him the SPO championship.
Yeah.
Which, everybody, while we're playing that video, go give a follow to SPO Wrestling on Facebook, X, YouTube, and Instagram. And don't forget about the Pro Wrestling Star Academy. You know, if you live in the New Jersey, Philly area, you know, contact for info. Tryouts will be happening. If you've ever thought about being pro wrestler, production, manager, referee, this is the place you want to come.
Hit them up.
But now here's the package, and we'll be back.
All right.
In the corner to my left is the challenger. Weighing in at 215 pounds, hailing from the Blade Dojo, ladies and gentlemen, it's Rick effin' Blade! In the corner to my right, the champion, led to the ring by the current reigning Miss Nation Universe, Elena Mizernaya. Here is the world champion, the Feral Thieves.
You guys are the Stare of Doom.
God, yeah. One. Tired already, Rick? Up, over. Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Damn. Two.
More than stuff. Two. One more than stuff. One more than stuff. One more than stuff.
Oh, damn. Oh. Two. Oh no. Watch it. Oh. Face up, get out of the way. Get out of the way. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh! Oh! Wow. The three fishermen. Oh! Oh my God! What? Holy shit! Devil for the fish!
Rick Effin Blade!
Wow!
My name is Legend. My name is Kill. My name is Infamy. That's what jealousy brings. My name is the melody. My legacy sings.
You deserve it! 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 You deserve
Rick Blade certainly did deserve it.
I haven't watched that back since that week. Wow, what what a match!
Yeah.
And disappointed we didn't get in there that look we got at the end.
Hey, he was just shooting us the look that you guys know what you did wrong, right?
I
can say
mean,
from- I,
that
for
would have
one, was
made that video so much longer if I had left that in there.
just a picture of the look.
That's actually what I'm looking for right now because I know I have it.
You can get that, I'm sure.
Oh,
But
Rick
yeah,
Blade.
I was doing it earlier and I got to the end of the match because obviously I had to watch the whole thing through as I was editing it. And at the end, I just had goosebumps.
Yeah. There it is.
There's the look.
Yeah. That is the look of sheer just disappointment in the three people that you are looking at and telling them, y'all know what you did, right? You know you messed up.
But you know what? You know what? Without what we did, he might not have had that extra chip on his shoulder to get the job done. Nothing but love and respect for you, Rick Blade.
100%.
Nothing but love and respect.
He popped in my stream last night to say hello on my other channel.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh, so he
Watching
might be
DJ
over.
drink beer, eh?
Yeah.
So what we're saying is he might have finally started forgiving us.
I think he's over it. I think him having this title is
He
Well,
knows
you know
that we
what-
know. He knows
You
that
know
we
what
know.
that gets from me? A woo with two
Woo!
O's.
wow.
Woo!
I had coffee. Let me see if I. Woo!
There it is.
That was more. That was more of one of these.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
That in me, right?
Hey, we can start our own ranking system with Woo and how many O's are in it. That was
Yes,
a 3-Woo. That was a 3-0 Woo match.
that was definitely a 1-0 match right there. Yeah. Giving it 5 O's. Wait, are we approaching when Harry met Sally territory, though?
You know what? And you would know it would be over when we see somebody going by our ranking system instead of the Meltzer 5 stars.
You know what we need? We need the audio clips. We need the very unenthusiastic Lara Valkyria. Woo. We need the a little more, and then we need the Ric Flair that used to be played in the WWE intro.
Yep, that one.
We just need audio clips so we can just rank it that way.
I like it.
Oh man. Oh yeah. So, Chef, tell us about some AEW this week.
Well, some AEW this week. I didn't know that I was going to be leading an AEW conversation right here. I actually, I paid a little more attention to TNA this week myself.
I actually caught TNA this week.
Nice. So, do you want to talk about TNA instead of AEW? Because I can do that.
Well, then we can talk TNA.
All right. Yeah, we started out with Joe Hendry coming in. I didn't take notes or anything, so I'm just going to be going off the top of my head here. But Joe Hendry declaring that he was taking on Trick Williams, going for his redemption, and so we see what's going on there.
Yeah, they announced that actually on NXT this week.
Yep.
So that this could kind of cross over with that because I almost brain farted completely on NXT. Was that also Trick Williams defended that TNA championship against Josh Briggs.
Okay.
And then Joe Hendry came out afterwards, and we kind of got the full announcement there that Joe Hendry will be facing Trick Williams at Slammiversary, which I'm looking forward to the rematch. Seems like a good time to switch the title back.
Yep.
Well,
also, we don't just have Joe Hendry getting his rematch. We got Mike Santana trying to make that into a triple threat match there. After his nice little win that he had this week in a hard-fought match. I can't argue that he does not. He does belong in that title scene. Yeah, he had a good match against Trick the other week, and he belongs right up there.
You know what? I have no problem with that, but you know what? Let Joe Hendry get his one-on-one rematch, and let Santana just be the next number one contender. But there is a good chance if they're going to go with him getting into the match, then that's TNA stacking the odds. And in a multi-man situation, I kind of lead toward Trick Williams retaining and keeping a hold on that TNA championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a three-way. Yeah.
As compared to a one-on-one match, to where this time you could go for the spot this time. That just the way it ended the first time, but this time Joe Hendry's able to actually stop himself from going face first into the belt or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he gets the upper hand on Trick and brings the TNA title back to Impact where it belongs.
So we also had last week, we actually had the return of Jake Something, and he had a nice little promo this week that he cut. He's going to be going after Mance Warner, going for his belt that he's got there. And we also had a promo where within the promo, he called out Steve Macklin for the championship belt.
The international championship, yes.
Yes, the international championship right there. Macklin showed up in the promo about 5 seconds later, said, sure, bring it on.
Can we, just real quick to talk about, hey, he's in Chef the Ref.
Thank you, Death Tour Dad. I appreciate that.
And I think this is the first time we've seen him actually in the chat. He actually does usually watch our show after, and he does comment.
Awesome.
Nice to actually have you here live, sir.
Thank you for the live join.
I think that's your number one fan there, Chef.
I think it might be my only fan there, Danger Ginger.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, slow down there.
Under-
Chef _ ref. No, that was already taken.
Yeah, I mean the is there. It's there. It's usually behind my head, but it's there.
But anyway, as we were before we went off the rail. White, do you watch any TNA?
Not this week. I did not watch TNA this week, so.
I mean, do you catch it when you can or at all?
Yes, I try to.
Okay. So I have a thing, but before I talk about the next match, because Ryan Nemeth lost to Zachary Wentz, and
yes, he
I
did.
have this thing to where on occasional Ryan Nemeth posts on Instagram, I'll do some like light trolling and end up going into like an Instagram war with him where he responds to my comments and we just go back and forth.
It's good times. It's good times to go find those comments and read
one
them.
of these one of these weeks maybe I'll load up the screenshots I have. I just don't think about it until I talk about it. But him and Zachary Wentz had a really good match to start the kickoff.
Yeah.
For the I think it was it was the first match.
Yeah,
of
it
the
was
night.
the first actual match of the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
We also, which something that myself and BJ had kind of already seen, which we didn't spoil last week, was that
almost it came close. It came close.
Cedric Alexander makes his TNA return or debut.
It was I think it's debut.
Yeah, he's never been there before. He was in Ring of Honor.
Okay, no, I just wasn't sure if he had been there at one point.
He's never been in TNA.
It was after another great match on the card that night between Mustafa Ali and his not planning on it ever.
That might have to become. Hey, real quick, should that become a new banner? Don't start an OnlyFans.
It could. I mean, it's just solid advice for all of us.
God love how we so easily go off the rails.
Yeah, there's barely a rail on this show. Except the third rail.
We're almost Death Star status. Giant chasm, no rails to stop.
Yep.
But yeah, that was that. Tasha Steelz has apparently been the one that has been texting him, and that's who he didn't want her texting. Mm-hmm. It seems like this little faction has just kind of turned their back on him now.
Yep, so Order 4 seems to have dissolved, at least from Mustafa Ali's perspective. The Grey Hands and Tasha Steelz they were definitely unified, literally behind Cedric Alexander this week. So.
Which, by the way, Tasha Steelz, the current SPO Women's Champion.
Yes, she is. Really elevated herself up in TNA. I'm not sure how much longer we're actually going to have her, be lucky enough to have her in SPO. But for as long as we do, we appreciate what she does.
Ryan Milky, it's all good. Hope your recording content's going good. We're doing good. Yes, and Wyatt is on with us.
Yeah.
It's good, Ryan.
Oh, there was I'm sorry. Once at the Super Crazy show, there was a guy who said he had just gotten done a run with TNA, but he didn't look familiar to me. It was Brian the Mecca Johnson. You familiar with him?
I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah,
not by name, not ringing a bell.
Very generic looking guy.
We also had Killer Kelly after returning. Letting it be known she has her eyes set on Masha and that TNA Knockouts Championship. We had a nice, good promo segment from Joe Hendry.
Yep. And then we had a hell of a women's battle royal.
I was just about to say, which, by the way, we thought that the Chris Jericho battle royal spot was good. I think
Dana Brooke might have done better.
Ash by Elegance,
yes.
Has so we have this spot early on in the battle royal where Ash by Elegance, the whole group by Elegance, just gets eliminated. Well, we thought. Well, Ash rolls under as they're coming over. and actually leaves ringside like she was eliminated. For us only to get down to the very end. And who was it? Indy
It was
Hartwell.
JC Jane or Indy Hartwell and oh crap, I forget who it was. Oh, Tessa Blanchard. Tessa Blanchard and Indy Hartwell in the ring, staring off at each other.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, Ash by Elegance just gets in the ring and makes the last elimination to win it, which brings out Masha. And then, a surprise, brings out current NXT Women's Champion, JC Jane.
Yes. Yep. So earlier in the night, Ariana Grace had showed up during a Masha backstage interview and said she had a little thing that she was working on in the name of competition. Masha said, "Bring it on." JC Jane must have been what was being worked on, and here we go. So after this next match against Killer Kelly, which is that's going to be happening this week, and I forget what the stipulation is on it, but last one standing or something for the Masha Slamovich and Killer Kelly match that's coming up this week. For the championship match, forget what the stipulation is, but anyway. After that match, are we headed for a triple threat with Ash by Elegance, Masha, and JC Jane, or are they going to be?
I think she's I think she gets the title shot at Slammiversary because there's one coming up now. So,
all right. So when does this Masha
old school legend? How you doing, brother?
What's up, old school?
So then, when do we get this Masha and JC Jane thing happening?
Well, that could turn into the champions facing number one contenders type deal. That could go. I mean, we really don't know why JC Jane's there, neither. She just came out. She didn't speak. She just made her presence felt.
Yeah.
That's all.
What do you think the chances are of somewhere in the next month or two, the someone from TNA winning the NXT women's title?
I'm okay with that.
I think there's some real stories to be told there. There's some really good competition.
Who's the one? Who's the one to defeat JC Jane?
Oh man, it could be a number of people. I mean,
you're not going to have Indy do it because she just came
Hold on.
You want Tessa to do it?
No. I make a case for Indy Hartwell as a former NXT Women's Champion.
Okay.
Because she's still going by the same name.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you're not adjusting as much, and it's somebody the WWE would trust to carry the championship over there.
But is it enough of a shock value to have it just be someone that the NXT crowd is already familiar with to win that title?
All right, so what would be more shocking? Is it the person winning or the fact that the title's changing brands? Or going bounce between? I think you gotta weigh the shock.
Indy's
value.
also had that title. She has won that title herself already before.
She has, yes.
So I don't think it has the same feel if she wins it versus someone else. Like if Tessa were to win it, that would be crazy.
I don't think WWE puts the
I don't think that'll happen.
There's too much controversy. Maybe.
That's like Del Rio coming back.
Yeah. We have a question in the chat. Ryan
please,
calling
Wyatt
out from being quiet. Please speak up, speak loud, interrupt us.
Guys,
but there is a question for the group.
We're throwing this to Wyatt first.
Who's our current favorite NXT female superstar on that roster?
Wyatt, who you got?
Oh, no.
Yep, you're first. Let's go.
Jada Parker.
Okay.
All right.
Jeff, what about you?
I am going with Jordan Grace.
All right.
Well,
BJ.
Just looking at the list.
It was Stephanie Vaquera until a few weeks ago when she got called up.
And that call-ups have really gotten to me. I'm going to say Thea Hale, but
okay,
see more of like Monroe. I think she might come out and be like the star of that division.
Yeah.
For me right now, it's actually a tie. Thea Hale, who I'm really big on, and Lash Legend.
Okay.
Okay.
If there's any two names I consistently talk about in NXT, it's those two names. That anytime I see it, let's go. You know, like all great picks though. All great. Now, I'm just saying Jordan Grace would be an option to bring the Knockouts title over.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what I'm just saying. Like,
again,
I think
it
it
plays
comes
to that
to a
Indy
point
Hartwell
of trust.
winning. Yeah. It does play to that. She has won it. She's had the belt. She has her name on it already. Do we want to have her win it and bring it over the direction? Or do we want someone who's been with NXT that whole time to bring over the Knockouts title?
You know what? Let me
Like
go
JC
look.
versus Masha in a champion title versus title match, that would be good because they've
now
both
we're
been with
talking.
that brand the whole time.
See, no, but now we're also talking. What if we're in a situation where it is championship for championship and there must be a winner? No countouts, no disqualifications. Somebody must win the championship.
Right. Yeah, sure. I'm fine with that. And if you get JC versus Masha in that case, yeah, I could absolutely see JC getting both belts and taking the Knockouts belt over to NXT. But I could also see Masha taking that NXT women's belt and bringing that over to TNA. You know, she's tough. She's not going to just roll over for JC Jane. You know, she could definitely win that matchup.
Oh, I agree. See, if I get Tessa Blanchard in the WWE ring, I want her going up against Charlotte. That's what.
Yeah, the
that's
legacy match. Flair versus Blanchard.
There is literal pro wrestling history involved in that match to tell. You know what? I got a name for to win the NXT Women's title from TNA in TNA. Steph DeLander. You want the shock value of both? That's something that would be a surprise. But I think she's still injured. But she's eventually healthy to go. Because she hasn't had a match.
She's healthy enough to make appearances, but I don't know about wrestle.
I mean, what about Tasha Steelz?
Tasha, we love Tasha.
She's a former knockout.
I don't know she takes. I don't know she takes that belt off of Jason Jane though. Yeah, I'm not sure she does. Masha Slamovich, I do feel is a little bit of a level higher than Tasha's at right now. You know, don't get me wrong, she could get there, but I think Masha's got that level.
See, I also look at Masha as somebody just like Jordan Grace, who I think could jump brands and go right to the main roster and fit in perfectly to whatever's going on there.
Yeah. Although she would probably do well with some NXT shine on her.
I mean, but she
6 months.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, you look at it, and I think she's somebody who, just like Jordan Grace, I think, I understand Jordan picked to be in NXT, but if WWE was like, hey, this is where we're putting you, I think she would be able to learn it on the fly just fine.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's where I also look at, like, and they both already have had, before Jordan signed, she already had experience being in that locker room and being a part of that brand.
Yeah, she'd been in the
so
Rumble.
has Masha now. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at their women's roster, and maybe the other person, which would be a real shocker, Alicia Edwards.
That would be a shocker. That would be a real shocker.
Something else that would be interesting, maybe to have some minor main roster crossover. Have the Inspiration win the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships.
Interesting call.
I think that would make sense because it's another title, and with that, it gives another excuse for brands to skip. And there's women's tag teams across all the brands.
Yeah.
But only one belt.
And it's a very interesting way to evolve the main roster without interrupting any of your mainstream storylines going at the moment.
True.
And it leads to, a TNA contracted wrestler getting a match on a WWE PLE.
Yeah. You know, like there's ways to look at it. And, another name, just real quick, I'll put into that list of people I think could jump to the main roster. Moose.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Moose.
Oh, absolutely, Moose. Yeah, he's main roster ready for sure.
Although I'd love to see a run in NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have him
so
going
would I.
against like
There's a lot of.
Obafemi.
Yeah,
Before
there's.
I'm on the main roster.
So I was watching Collision today before the show, and I had this all of a sudden thought of wanting to see the matchup of Brody King versus somebody like Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Jacob Fatu.
Big meat match.
Hell, that's just we'll pull them all four together.
I would love to see Brody King in WWE, just a match potential there. And he could reunite with Aleister Black, bring Buddy over. Buddy can, hang out with Rhea.
Yeah,
Everybody-
actually get to spend time with his wife.
He'll get divorced in 6 months.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I would
Boy,
love
boy,
to
oh,
see
boy.
action over in WWE, though.
All right, so quick question, because really don't have much. We have a lot of free time still. Take 3 guys, no championships. There's no championship on the line.
Okay.
Take one person to represent. All right, 4 fatal 4-way. One person to represent the main roster. One
Okay.
person to represent NXT. One person to represent TNA, and one person to represent AEW.
And
Or
they're
we
putting it in
each
a four-way
Vaughn,
match.
why don't we each pick a company instead of one of us doing it? I want AEW. So
Okay.
Somebody else pick a
I'll take
company?
TNA.
I'll take WWE.
Sure, NXT.
All
All
right.
right. Since this was your idea, why don't you start, DG?
Will Ospreay.
All right. So to go
Good,
up
I
against him,
love his entrance and the energy he brings. At this
Yeah.
point,
I mean, I feel from TNA there is one super obvious answer, and that is Joe Hendry. I mean, yeah, that is the obvious answer. I'm not sure that it's necessarily the most interesting answer, but I think it is the obvious and possibly the best answer.
all right. BJ, NXT before we do the main roster.
Gotta go Tricky William.
All right. And Wyatt, who do you pick from either SmackDown or Raw? Because you can only pick one person. Who represents?
Braun Breaker.
I like it.
All right.
I like this. All right, guys. Who's winning this match?
Breaker.
Yeah, main roster
Yeah,
guy.
Breaker.
Yeah.
I'm going. You know what? I'd say Will Ospreay.
Of course you do, Mark.
Of course.
I'm not a mark anymore.
Yes, you are. Just there's
Don't
only
listen
one context where you're not.
It's
I
still
mean, I would have. I think that would. So, all right, let's do the women now.
okay.
So we'll stick with what companies we picked. Wyatt,
Sure.
you go first this time.
Okay. I'll go. Let's go Tiffany. We'll go Tiffany Stratton.
All right.
All right.
So TNA, I'm going to go with the swerve here maybe a little bit. I'm going with Tessa Blanchard.
Ooh.
Yeah. Not anybody's favorite, but she gets the job done.
Well, I hate that I have to go look at the roster to make sure this person's actually still on the AEW roster.
Britt Baker.
No. You
know
got
it's not
NXT
Mercedes.
over there.
Yeah, who you got from NXT, BJ?
In this match, I'm gonna have with the competitors already named. I'm gonna have to go with a heavy. I'm gonna have to go with Jordan Grace in this one.
Makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
Wow. Huh. This one's a bit harder. Because there's so many good names.
But it's
But you
also
know-
kind of thin
But
at the same
but-
time.
no, but you know what? Hey, if you guys don't allow it, it's fine.
Okay.
But the current and longest reigning champion for any championship in the history of Ring of Honor, Athena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
To
Yeah, I'll
match
allow
up with that, that's the best.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Yeah,
what's up.
I'll allow it to fall under the AEW
I was
umbrella.
originally to go Tony Storm, but,
I
but
would've-
there's not. But Athena measures up better
Yeah,
in that
yes.
matchup,
I agree.
and as a
I'll allow it.
representation of that. Okay,
I would have gone Blake Monroe until he said Tessa. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh, heavy. I need a heavy in.
Yep. Yeah, Jordan Grace makes a lot of sense in there.
want to do tag teams real quick?
All
Why
right.
the hell not?
Why not?
So, I guess I'll start with tag teams just to change it up a little bit. And I am going with the system. Must trust the system.
Got to go Hank and Tank.
I like it.
You know what? With the names you guys have chosen, I go with the Outrunners.
Oh,
I like it. I like that.
I'm going to the matchup more than
I like that.
what would fit.
Yeah. All right, who we got main
And
roster?
now here comes the WWE to pee on our parade.
Oh.
Oh, and who would win the women's?
Oh man.
Oh, who would win the women's match?
I got Fraxium.
Oh,
Fraxium.
okay.
Okay,
Main
I
roster
like it.
fraction. All right, as
All
far
right.
as the women's winner, I'm going with Tessa.
Jordan.
I honestly, I make a case for Athena to win because she, even
all
without
going with
championships,
our
and
own
we
win.
just take the hit. Yeah, yeah.
Why
yeah.
you're picking Tiffy, right?
It's Tiffy time.
Look, but for this conversation, just must stay up there now. That's it. It's happened. All right.
Oh,
So,
yes,
Yeah. The back seats are judging us the rest of the show.
we got
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who did I say? Hank and Tank.
Yep. It's the system, Hank and Tank,
Fraxium.
Proxium, and who'd you say, DJ?
Outrunners.
Outrunners.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm taking the system to win that.
I'm going to go Outrunners.
Okay. Interesting call.
I just think-
Honestly, if I had to pencil, I'd book the Outrunners to win too, because I think the fans would be really happy with it,
Oh, yeah.
and
I'm sure
it
they
would be a good match.
Everybody would knock themselves out, and Fraxium would just walk in and pin everybody.
Ryan in the chat. Oh, that's
Yeah,
he had
he's
some
picking
picks
Fraxium.
here. He had Trick winning for
Trick
him
Willie.
out of it.
Trick.
His match was
Going
Oh.
old school.
I'm going old school in TNA with ODB.
yeah. He
Wow.
also went. We were all
Aces
going
and
with
eights,
current
okay.
roster.
Who's
Yeah, we were
Well,
thinking current
yeah.
roster, not
Yeah,
past. But yeah,
what
sure,
part-
aces and eights.
hold on.
I'm down with that.
My question is, what part of Aces and Eights?
Yeah, what do we got? The Dudleys. We got Wes Briscoe, Garrett Bischoff. We got Doc Gallows.
Bully Ray was the champion. Him and Devon were tag
Yeah,
teaming
we weren't a unit.
in Aces.
Ken Anderson, Mike Knox. Like,
He had Tessa with a dirty win.
Bingo. There you
Not
go.
Yeah.
just for the tag team from Aces and Eights, I'm pretty sure.
D'Lo and
D'Lo and
Devon.
You're looking at the real deal now.
Before D'Lo got kicked out.
The human bobblehead doll. D'Lo Brown.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty fun there. Little impromptu, you know.
I got something that is wrestling
Oh.
adjacent that is fun
Yes.
that I can bring up here.
I got you.
Yeah,
Here we go
I've
here.
recently gotten back into reading comics fairly heavily, and I did not know this gem existed until I discovered that it was sitting there just waiting for me at my local library. This was a graphic novel that included the full run of Do a Power Bomb. It's exactly what it looks like. It is a graphic novel all about a woman who becomes a wrestler. The reason she's inspired to do so is because, spoiler alert for the first part of the book, she witnesses her mother as she's a child. She witnesses her mother in an intergender match accidentally die in the ring. So, inspired by that, she becomes a wrestler, and the story goes on from there. She is entered into a tournament where she is promised the ability to do something, bring someone back that she wants to. I'm not going to spoil anything from there, but if you are into comics at all, do yourself a favor. Find yourself a copy of Do a Powerbomb. We already know you're into wrestling if you're watching this and you've been here for this long. If you're at all into comics, do yourself a favor. Check out Do a Powerbomb.
I mean, also, while you're at it, you should look for this masterpiece as well.
That is the comic book I'm waiting for right there.
There have been some delays. My printing company, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to have to get a hold of them.
That's fair. They're busy printing John Cena with no hair on T-shirts.
Yeah.
But yeah, early start time for Raw tomorrow.
Yeah, 6 p.m. I can guarantee I won't be watching it. Yeah, not until Oldberg leaves after Night of Saturday.
Yeah, you boycotting WWE because of Goldberg is the most IWC thing ever.
Probably, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, well, I'm just going to say, you can only criticize what you should at least watch the match. No, don't watch the match itself.
Why would I watch the match? That's the whole point of what I'm doing this for, so I don't have to watch the match.
No. If you really want to hurt WWE, you have to watch Saturday night's main event, and as soon as it's time for that match, you just have to turn it off so the rating tanks when Goldberg's match comes up.
If I still had a Nielsen box, I would absolutely do that, but I don't. So,
Used to.
Ryan Milky, loving those Saturday night hangouts.
Thank you. I was super tired last night.
I was at work.
To do, but it was a good time.
Yeah. Wyatt, anything you'd like to plug for your channel? The floor is all yours, if so.
Well, tomorrow we are going. I'm getting a few people. We're gonna do a little recap of Night of Champions. They're gonna give their thoughts on it, and I will be live for Monday Night Raw. This Wednesday we'll have a new interview out. My editor, Ryan Milky, is doing that for me right now. Tuesday we'll do an NXT stream, and Friday we'll do the Smash. No Friday stream. No.
You guys make sure to give him a follow at Wyatt Wrestling on Instagram and YouTube to stay up to date as well.
Milky, that comment was not wrong one bit.
I guess I have to look.
Get there, so I can bring the comment back up.
Yep. It's barely PG, but we'll qualify it. It may not be TV PG, but it's movie PG. Moldberg. Yes.
Goldberg.
Yes. Absolutely. Death for
Moldberg.
that.
All right. Who's going to Saturday's night main event that we can start a Moldberg chant? We got to get that over.
Please,
we got to get that over.
Anybody out there that gets this broadcast then is going to Saturday night's main event. Do it.
Anybody in Atlanta, Georgia, go do it.
Yeah, seriously. Let's see. What else? Did I have anything else to talk about here? WWE called the monster in the room as counter programming against AEW heats up. You know,
yeah, they got Saturday night main event going right up against All In.
You know,
So.
these poor people that live. Some of these people who lived through the Monday Night Wars as wrestling fans, like having to choose a program. Ooh, you know, we had VCRs then. We have DVRs now.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's ways to watch everything.
He's great.
Look, Rick Blade. That's how Rick Blade feels about it.
Sorry, Rick. I'm sorry.
We did what we had to do.
Over in the chat here, we've got Archives, Books, Chronicles, Diaries. If you guys remember Glow from the 80s, their 40th anniversary is coming up.
Yes.
I absolutely remember Glow. 40 years ago, I was 10 years old, so I absolutely remember Glow.
I was only 5, but I remember Glow well.
Yep. Fond memories of watching that Saturday mornings along with cartoons, and good times. So.
Yeah, just real quick also, more shout-outs, Buzzing with Marlo. Go give the a follow over on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, and more. And then, as always, as well, our buddy Milky, who is Wrestle Realm.
Fraser.
Fraser mixed with THX.
Scrambled it. So,
I mean, as always, as well, if you live near the Mount Holly, Burlington County area in New Jersey or Philly, and you're interested in pro wrestling, whether it's manager, production, being one of the wrestlers, whatever you want, we can help you do it, and much more.
And for all your graphic needs,
yes,
we've got Eclipse
there it is.
Graphics. There it is.
Oh, guys, we forgot. How do we do this every week and almost forget to do this every week?
Oh,
Our match of the week.
See, we got to save the best for last. That's why we always forget until the very end.
So you're just saying like the booking for the show's gotten so lazy that we forget about something and don't remember for it to the very end.
No, I'm saying we're selling it as it's the
lazy
best part of
booking.
the show, so we're saving it for the end.
Keep
people around with your best
It's not
stuff.
putting butts in seats. We need to put butts in seats.
All right,
hey, listen, rewrite the script 5 minutes before every show went live. We wouldn't have this problem.
Sure thing, Vince.
Well, then fire me.
Decide which Vince I'm talking about amongst yourselves.
I'll go first. Jay Cody.
All right.
I like the build up.
That actually surprises me.
Yeah, typically, I would never think that I would enjoy that match, let alone as much as I did. But it was a clean finish. It was face, which I love when they stick faces and faces together.
Now imagine that reaction at WrestleMania.
Different context.
Different
context.
No. But I'm just saying, the only thing you're replacing is advancing in King of the Ring to the finals to Jey Uso picking him to be his opponent at WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. That fan response was absolutely amazing for that face versus face match. Now,
I'm not sure that's on my WrestleMania card yet.
But I don't know. I'm just saying at this previous WrestleMania, not at the upcoming one. I'm
okay.
just saying if Jay had picked Cody like I want, because how much did I talk about this match happening?
I would have loved it.
So my match of the
But I'm sorry, 1 second. But if they would have done it at WrestleMania, it would have got run in on. It would have been a mess.
Yes, exactly.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying if you take that match and you put it at WrestleMania, take the match we saw on Raw, maybe add some more spots to it because it's WrestleMania. No run-ins, clean finish with two baby faces competing for the biggest prize in the game.
Could work.
And you saw the fan reaction. Imagine that reaction with 70,000 fans. That's all I'm saying. Like, it wasn't just me wanting to tear fans apart, but seeing that reaction that who do they want to cheer for more? Not necessarily boo, because I didn't really hear any boos during that match, which made it that much better for me. I'm like, that was the complete opposite reaction that I honestly expected.
I think, was there a back and forth, like a boo yay punch segment at one?
But I think it was more like they were certain fans were just a level of cheer. Like, it was a really weird fan dynamic for that match.
I think hearing Cody get booed at certain points.
There might have been, just because more they thought that might have been the end of the match, but then you would see them rebound right back. So it was more to, that's not the finish.
All right, your turn. Sorry.
So many great matches. But you know what, in all honesty, how much you would think that I would be in agreement the match of the week is Jay and Cody, because that's what I went into this week expecting, regardless of everything else. Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross.
Very good match.
That was an amazing match. It was amazing storytelling in the ring with the structure of the match and how it worked. Sami Zayn barely won that match.
That's one I'll have to go back and watch after the middle of July once I'm watching WWE again.
Like, there was a lot of points where Sami Zayn, especially when he was in the cross jacket, I thought he was done. And just amazing storytelling. That's what a wrestling match should be. And it shows that style of match, even something more amplified than what we see in the indies, that style of actually in-ring storytelling in the match itself with the moves still works.
Plus, when they're in the Middle East, they have to have Sammy on the card.
That's fine. It's Sami Zayn.
It just makes too much sense. You have to have him on the card in the Middle East.
Right.
That was a good one.
Yeah, bring that back up. Let me see that. Match of the week, Zelina versus Giulia, solely because that U.S. title will now start to mean something. Oh, yeah. That U.S. title is definitely going to start meaning a lot more now.
Chef, your match of the week.
My match of the week is coming from TNA, and it was that women's Battle Royal. That was a fantastic match. Everything that it was involved with, everything that it sets up going forward, the way that Ash by Elegance just, weaseled her way out of the ring, made it look like she was out of the match, made it look like the whole Elegance faction was out at once, when really it was just 2/3 of them that were out, and she just sneaks her way back in at the end where there's just those two competitors that think they're going to be duking it out. Hey, look, veteran move. She wins it. Good for her. You get to stare down with Masha. Immediately after, you get JC Jane at the top of the ramp. Where all of this goes in the future, I'm really looking forward to watching it.
What was your match of the week?
My match of the week was John Cena versus CM Punk.
Nice.
Any reasons why that is your match of the week?
That match was chaotic.
I'm
going to have to go back and watch all of the build up to that after.
Well, just watch Night of Champions. Yeah, just watch the Night of Champions show in general.
I got to go back and watch the John Cena pipe bomb. I got to watch the CM Punkonomics.
Punkonomics was
Oh.
great.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to say before we continue, that was my television match of the week. My in-person match of the week was Primal Fear defeating the Revelation.
There you go.
It's just chaos everywhere. There were rarely moments when it was just one-on-one in the ring, and then people on the on the apron. It was just everybody everywhere.
Nice.
Very good match. Go.
All right. Anybody else got anything going on this week?
I think it's about time to ring the bell.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else to really cover? Yeah, Raw's on at 6:00 tomorrow live. That should be very interesting. Then they're pre-taping SmackDown because I'm guessing 4th of July weekend.
Well, actually,
Yep.
4th of July.
Friday is 4th of July, so yep. And then I assume they're pre-taping Raw for next week because of, the national holiday celebrating my birthday then.
Yeah. Primal Fear, as was said in the chat, always brings it. They won more gold this weekend with winning those dog tag team championships. So those guys out there killing it. Gotta always give them a shout out.
Muppet Fear. Or would that be Primal Muppet?
Muppet Fear.
Primal Muppet works better.
Either of them work.
But yeah, guys, great show today. Wyatt, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody be good to each other. And have a safe and fun 4th of July. Don't blow any limbs off. Your own or
no
other
JPPs
people.
here.
All right. Or else Rick Blade might be disappointed in you too.
You never
And
want
we
to
know how
Blade
that
and feel
feels.
that stare. You never want to feel his stare upon you. BJ's now felt it twice.
Yeah. And got called out in the middle of everything. Thank you. Thank you.
Simon Gotchi turns to me and says, "You didn't pick me."
I might have to bring that footage back up next week for us to play because I have that footage.
Oh, that was so much fun.
But yeah, everybody have a safe and happy holiday. Enjoy plenty of barbecue food. Be good to each other. And we'll see you next week for another episode of BJ and DG Talk Wrestling.
Everybody watching, I'm going to need you to visit www.freakkings.com. Check out all the merch. And before you do that, I'm going to need you to check out BJDG YouTube and Instagram. And while you're doing that, you won't have to remember the name, because you'll remember the face.